Kanye West. This video compresses information gathered from Wikipedia in video format. Studies prove that reading while listening improves reading comprehension, increases speed as well as expands vocabulary and enhances fluency. Video sections: abstract, early life, career, musical style, other ventures, controversies, personal life, achievements, notes, external links. Give your feedback on the comments section and support the channel by like and subscribing the video. Thanks. Abstract. Kanye West is an American rapper, singer, songwriter, record producer, composer, entrepreneur and fashion designer, spanning an eclectic range of influences, including hip-hop, soul, baroque pop, electro, indie rock, synth pop, industrial and gospel. West is one of the most acclaimed musicians of his generation. Outside of his music career, West has also had success in the fashion industry. Born in Atlanta and raised in Chicago, West was first known as a producer for Rockefeller Records in the early 2000s, producing singles for several mainstream artists. Intent on pursuing a solo career as a rapper, West released his debut album The College Dropout in 2004 to critical and commercial success, and founded the record label Good Music. He experimented with a variety of musical genres on subsequent acclaimed studio albums, including Late Registration, 2005, Graduation, 2007, and 808s and Heartbreak, 2008, before releasing My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, 2010, which was hailed by several critics as the best album of the decade. He succeeded the album with the sonically abrasive work Yeezus, 2013, and went on to release The Life of Pablo, 2016, Ye, 2018, and Jesus is King, 2019, as well as the full-length collaborations Watch the Throne, 2011, and Kids See Ghosts, 2018, with Jay-Z and Kid Cudi, respectively. West's outspoken views in life outside of music have received significant media attention. He has been a frequent source of controversy for his conduct at award shows, on social media, and in other public settings, as well as for his comments on the music and fashion industries, U.S. politics, and race. His Christian faith, as well as his marriage to television personality Kim Kardashian, have also been a source of media attention. As a fashion designer, he has collaborated with Nike, Louis Vuitton, and APC on both clothing and footwear, and have most prominently resulted in the Yeezy collaboration with Adidas beginning in 2013. He is the founder and head of the creative content company Donda. West is one of the world's best-selling music artists, with over 140 million records sold worldwide. He has won a total of 21 Grammy Awards, making him one of the most awarded artists of all time. Among his other awards include the Billboard Artist Achievement Award, a joint record 3 Brit Awards for Best International Male Solo Artist and the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award. 3 of his albums have been included on the Rolling Stone 2012 update of the 500 Greatest Albums of All Time list, and the same publication named him one of the 100 Greatest Songwriters of All Time. West is the title holder for the most albums, topping the annual Paz and Jop Critic poll with 4. Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2005 and 2015. Early life. Kanye West was born on June 8, 1977, in Douglasville, Georgia. After his parents divorced when he was 3 years old, he moved with his mother to Chicago, Illinois. His father, Ray West, is a former Black Panther and was one of the first black photojournalists at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Ray West was later a Christian counselor, and in 2006, opened the Good Water Store and Cafe in Lexington Park, Maryland with startup capital from his son. West's mother, Dr. Donda C. Williams West, was a professor of English at Clark Atlanta University. and the chair of the English department at Chicago State University. Before retiring to serve as his manager, West was raised in a middle-class background, attending Polaris High School in suburban Oak Lawn, Illinois. After living in Chicago, at the age of 10, West moved with his mother to Nanjing, China, where she was teaching at Nanjing University as part of an exchange program this year. According to his mother, West was the only foreigner in his class, but settled in well and quickly picked up the language, although he has since forgotten most of it. When asked about his grades in high school, West replied, "I got A's and B's, and I'm not even frontin'." West demonstrated an affinity for the arts at an early age. He began writing poetry when he was 5 years old. His mother recalled that she first took notice of West's passion for drawing and music when he was in the 3rd grade. West started rapping in the 3rd grade and began making musical compositions in the 7th grade, eventually selling them to other artists. At age 13, West wrote a rap song called Green Eggs and Ham, and persuaded his mother to pay for time in a recording studio, accompanying him to the studio. And despite discovering it being a little basement studio where a microphone hung from the ceiling by a wire clothes hanger, West's mother nonetheless supported and encouraged him. This year West crossed paths with producer, DJ No ID, with whom he quickly formed a close friendship. No ID soon became West's mentor, and it was from him that West learned how to sample and program beats after he received his first sampler at age 15. 557 After graduating from high school, West received a scholarship to attend Chicago's American Academy of Art in 1997 and began taking painting classes, but shortly after transferred to Chicago State University to study English. He soon realized that his busy class schedule was detrimental to his musical work, and at 20 he dropped out of college to pursue his musical dreams. This action greatly displeased his mother, who was also a professor at the university. She later commented, "It was drummed into my head that college is the ticket to a good life. But some career goals don't require college." For Kanye to make an album called College Dropout, it was more about having the guts to embrace who you are, rather than following the path society has carved out for you. 558. Career. Kanye West began his early production career in the mid-1990s, creating beats primarily for burgeoning local artists, eventually developing a style that involved speeding up vocal samples from classic soul records. His first official production credits came at the age of 19 when he produced 8 tracks on Down to Earth, the 1996 debut album of a Chicago rapper named Grav. For a time, West acted as a ghost producer for Derek D. Angela T. Because of his association with D. West wasn't able to release a solo album, so he formed and became a member and producer of the Go-Getters, a late 1990s Chicago rap group composed of him, GLC, Timmy G, Really Doe, and Narrow Star. His group was managed by John Monopoly Johnson, Don Crowley, and Happy Lewis under the management firm Hustle. After attending a series of promotional photo shoots and making some radio appearances, the Go-Getters released their first and only studio album, World Record Holders, in 1999. The album featured other Chicago-based rappers such as Rhymefest, Nikki Halstead, Miss Chris, and Shayla G. Meanwhile, the production was handled by West, Arrow Star, Boogs, and Brian All Day Miller. In 1998, West was the first person signed by G. Robinson and Kayambo hip-hop Joshua Totu management production company Hip Hop since 1978. West spent much of the late 1990s producing records for a number of well-known artists and music groups. The third song on Foxy Brown's second studio album, China Doll, was produced by West. Her second effort subsequently became the very first hip-hop album by a female rapper to debut at the top of the US Billboard 200 chart in its first week of release. West produced 3 of the tracks on Harlem World's first and only album, The Movement, alongside Jermaine Dupri and the production duo Trackmasters. His songs featured rappers Nas, Dragon, and R&B singer Carl Thomas. The ninth track from World Party, the last Goody Mob album to feature the rap group's four founding members prior to their breakup, was co-produced by West with his manager Derek D. Angela T. At the close of the millennium, West ended up producing 6 songs for Tell 'Em Why You Mad, an album that was released by D. under the alias of the Mad Rapper, a fictional character he created for a skit on the Notorious B.I.G.'s second and final studio album, Life After Death. West's songs featured guest appearances from rappers such as Madolari, Raekwon, and Emin Monsieur. West got his big break in the year 2000, when he began to produce for artists on Rockefeller Records. West came to achieve recognition and is often credited with revitalizing Jay-Z's career with his contributions to the rap mogul's influential 2001 album The Blueprint. The Blueprint is consistently ranked among the greatest hip-hop albums, and the critical and financial success of the album generated substantial interest in West as a producer, serving as an in-house producer for Rockefeller Records. West produced records for other artists from the label, including Beanie Sigel, Freeway, and Cam'ron. He also crafted hit songs for Ludacris, Alicia Keys, and Janet Jackson. Despite his success as a producer, West's true aspiration was to be a rapper. Though he had developed his rapping long before he began producing, it was often a challenge for West to be accepted as a rapper, and he struggled to attain a record deal. Multiple record companies ignored him because he did not portray the gangster image prominent in mainstream hip-hop at the time. 556 After a series of meetings with Capitol Records, West was ultimately denied an artist deal. According to Capitol Records A&R, Joe Weinberger, he was approached by West and almost signed a deal with him. But another person in the company convinced Capitol's president not to. Desperate to keep West from defecting to another label, then label head Amon Dash reluctantly signed West to Rockefeller Records. Jay-Z later admitted that Rockefeller was initially reluctant to support West as a rapper, claiming that many saw him as a producer first and foremost, and that his background contrasted with that of his label mates. 556. West's breakthrough came a year later on October 23, 2002, when, while driving home from a California recording studio after working late, he fell asleep at the wheel, causing a head-on crash with another car. The crash left him with a shattered jaw, which had to be wired shut in reconstructive surgery. The crash broke both legs of the other driver. The accident inspired West. 2 weeks after being admitted to the hospital, he recorded a song at the Record Plant Studios with his jaw still wired shut. The composition, Through the Wire, expressed West's experience after the accident, and helped lay the foundation for his debut album. As according to West, all the better artists have expressed what they were going through. West added that the album was my medicine, as working on the record distracted him from the pain. Through the Wire was first available on West's Get Well Soon mixtape, released December 2002. At the same time, West announced that he was working on an album called The College Dropout, whose overall theme was to make your own decisions. Don't let society tell you. This is what you have to do. West recorded the remainder of the album in Los Angeles while recovering from the car accident. Once he had completed the album, it was leaked months before its release date. However, West decided to use the opportunity to review the album, and The College Dropout was significantly remixed, remastered, and revised before being released. As a result, certain tracks originally destined for the album were subsequently retracted. Among them, Keep the Receipt with Ill Dirty Bastard and The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly, with Consequence. West meticulously refined the production, adding string arrangements, gospel choirs, improved drum programming, and new verses. West's perfectionism led The College Dropout to have its release postponed 3 times from its initial date in August 2003. The College Dropout was eventually issued by Rockefeller in February 2004, shooting to number 2 on the Billboard 200 as his debut single. Through the Wire peaked at number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart for 5 weeks. Slow Jams, his second single featuring Twister and Jamie Foxx, became an even bigger success. It became the three musicians' first #1 hit. The College Dropout received near universal critical acclaim from contemporary music critics, was voted the top album of the year by 2 major music publications, and has consistently been ranked among the great hip-hop works and debut albums by artists. Jesus Walks, the album's 4th single, perhaps exposed West to a wider audience. The song's subject matter concerns faith and Christianity. The song nevertheless reached the top 20 of the Billboard pop charts, despite industry executives' predictions that a song containing such blatant declarations of faith would never make it to radio. The College Dropout would eventually be certified triple platinum in the US, and garnered West 10 Grammy nominations, including Album of the Year, and Best Rap Album, which it received. During this period, West also founded Good Music, a record label and management company that would go on to house affiliate artists and producers, such as No ID and John Legend. At the time, the focal point of West's production style was the use of sped-up vocal samples from soul records. However, partly because of the acclaim of The College Dropout, such sampling had been much copied by others, with that overuse, and also because West felt he had become too dependent on the technique. He decided to find a new sound. During this time, he also produced singles for Brandy, Common, John Legend, and Slum Village. Beginning his second effort that fall, West would invest $2 million and take over a year to craft his second album. This year West was significantly inspired by Roseland NYC Live, a 1998 live album by English trip-hop group Portishead, produced with the New York Philharmonic Orchestra. Early in his career, the live album had inspired him to incorporate string arrangements into his hip-hop production. Though West had not been able to afford many live instruments around the time of his debut album, the money from his commercial success enabled him to hire a string orchestra for his second album. Late Registration. West collaborated with American film score composer John Bryan, who served as the album's co-executive producer for several tracks. Although Bryan had no prior experience in creating hip-hop records, he and West found that they could productively work together after their first afternoon in their studio, where they discovered that neither confined his musical knowledge and vision to one specific genre. Late Registration sold over 2.3 million units in the United States alone by the end of 2005 and was considered by industry observers as the only successful major album release of the fall season, which had been plagued by steadily declining CD sales. While West had encountered controversy a year prior when he stormed out of the American Music Awards in 2004 after losing Best New Artist award to Gretchen Wilson. His first large-scale controversy came just days following Late Registration's release. During a benefit concert for Hurricane Katrina victims in September 2005, NBC broadcast a concert for hurricane relief, and West was a featured speaker. When West was presenting alongside actor Mike Myers, he deviated from the prepared script. Myers spoke next and continued to read the script. Once it was West's turn to speak again, he said, "George Bush doesn't care about black people." West's comment reached much of the United States, leading to mixed reactions. President Bush would later call it one of the most disgusting moments of his presidency. West raised further controversy in January 2006 when he posed on the cover of Rolling Stone wearing a crown of thorns, fresh off spending the previous year touring the world with U2 on their Vertigo tour. West felt inspired to compose anthemic rap songs that could operate more efficiently in large arenas. To this end, West incorporated the synthesizer into his hip-hop production, utilized slower tempos, and experimented with electronic music and influenced by music of the 1980s. In addition to U2, West drew musical inspiration from arena rock bands such as the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin in terms of melody and chord progression. To make his next effort, the third in a planned tetralogy of education-themed studio albums, more introspective and personal in lyricism, West listened to folk and country singer-songwriters Bob Dylan and Johnny Cash in hopes of developing methods to augment his wordplay and storytelling ability. West's third studio album, Graduation, garnered major publicity when its release date pitted West in a sales competition against rapper 50 Cent's Curtis. Upon their September 2007 releases, Graduation outsold Curtis by a large margin, debuting at number 1 on the US Billboard 200 chart and selling 957,000 copies in its first week. Graduation continued the string of critical and commercial successes by West, and the album's lead single, Stronger, garnered his third number 1 hit. Stronger, which samples French house duo Daft Punk, has been accredited to not only encouraging other hip-hop artists to incorporate house and electronica elements into their music, but also for playing a part in the revival of disco and electro-infused music in the late 2000s. Then Detrick of XXL cited the outcome of the sales competition between 50 Cent's Curtis and West's Graduation as being responsible for altering the direction of hip-hop and paving the way for new rappers who didn't follow the hardcore gangster mold. Writing, if there was ever a watershed moment to indicate hip-hop's changing direction, it may have come when 50 Cent competed with Kanye in 2007 to see whose album would claim superior sales. West's life took a different direction when his mother, Donda West, died of complications from cosmetic surgery involving abdominoplasty and breast reduction in November 2007. Months later, West and fiancée Alexis Fiffer ended their engagement and their long-term intermittent relationship, which had begun in 2002. The events profoundly affected West, who set off for his 2008 Glow in the Dark tour shortly thereafter, purportedly because his emotions could not be conveyed through rapping. West decided to sing using the voice audio processor Auto-Tune, which would become a central part of his next effort. West had previously experimented with the technology on his debut album The College Dropout for the background vocals of Jesus Walks and Never Let Me Down. Recorded mostly in Honolulu, Hawaii in 3 weeks, West announced his fourth album, 808s and Heartbreak, at the 2008 MTV Video Music Awards, where he performed its lead single, Love Lockdown. Music audiences were taken aback by the uncharacteristic production style and the presence of auto-tune, which typified the pre-release response to the record, 808s and Heartbreak, which features extensive use of the eponymous Roland TR-808 drum machine and contains themes of love, loneliness, and heartache, was released by Island Def Jam to capitalize on Thanksgiving weekend in November 2008. Reviews were positive, though slightly more mixed than his previous efforts. Despite this, the record's singles demonstrated outstanding chart performances. Upon its release, the lead single, Love Lockdown, debuted at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became a hot shot debut, while follow-up single, Heartless, performed similarly and became his second consecutive hot shot debut, by debuting at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. While it was criticized prior to release, 808s and Heartbreak had a significant effect on hip-hop music, encouraging other rappers to take more creative risks with their productions. West's controversial incident the following year at the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards was arguably his biggest controversy, and led to widespread outrage throughout the music industry. During the ceremony, West crashed the stage and grabbed the microphone from Taylor Swift during her acceptance speech for Best Female Video, in order to proclaim that Beyoncé's video for Single Ladies, nominated for the same award, was one of the best videos of all time. He was subsequently withdrawn from the remainder of the show for his actions. West's Fame Kills tour with Lady Gaga was cancelled in response to the controversy. In 2009, West was named by Billboard as the top male artist of 2009. Following the highly publicized incident, West took a brief break from music and threw himself into fashion, only to hole up in Hawaii for the next few months writing and recording his next album this year, importing his favorite producers and artists to work on and inspire his recording. West kept engineers behind the boards 24 hours a day and slept only in increments. Noah Callahan Beaver, a writer for Complex, was present during the sessions and described the communal atmosphere as thus: "With the right songs and the right album, he can overcome any and all controversy. And we are here to contribute, challenge, and inspire." A variety of artists contributed to the project, including close friends Jay-Z, Kid Cudi and Pusha T, as well as off-the-wall collaborations, such as with Justin Vernon of Bon Iver. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, West's fifth studio album, was released in November 2010 to widespread acclaim from critics, many of whom considered it his best work and said it solidified his comeback. In stark contrast to his previous effort, which featured a minimalist sound, Dark Fantasy adopts a maximalist philosophy and deals with themes of celebrity and excess. The record included the international hit All of the Lights, and Billboard hits Power, Monster, and Runaway, the latter of which accompanied a 35-minute film of the same name directed by and starring West. During this time, West initiated the free music program Good Fridays through his website, offering a free download of previously unreleased songs each Friday, a portion of which were included on the album Monsieur. This promotion ran from August 20 to December 17, 2010. Dark Fantasy went on to go platinum in the United States, but its admission as a contender for Album of the Year at the 54th Grammy Awards was viewed as a snub by several media outlets. 2011 saw West embark on a festival tour to commemorate the release of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, performing and headlining numerous festivals including SWU Music and Arts, Austin City Limits, Oya Festival, Flow Festival, Live Music Festival, The Big Chill, Essence Music Festival, Lollapalooza and Coachella, which was described by The Hollywood Reporter as one of greatest hip-hop sets of all time. West released the collaborative album Watch the Throne with Jay-Z in August 2011. By employing a sales strategy that released the album digitally weeks before its physical counterpart, Watch the Throne became one of the few major label albums in the internet age to avoid a leak. Niggas in Paris became the record's highest charting single, peaking at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. The co-headlining Watch the Throne tour kicked off in October 2011 and concluded in June 2012. In 2012, West released the compilation album Cruel Summer, a collection of tracks by artists from West's record label Good Music. Cruel Summer produced 4 singles, 2 of which charted within the top 20 of the Hot 100, Mercy and Clique. West also directed a film of the same name that premiered at the 2012 Cannes Film Festival in custom pyramid-shaped screening pavilion featuring 7 screens. Sessions for West's sixth solo effort began to take shape in early 2013 in his own personal lofts living room at a Paris hotel. Determined to undermine the commercial, he once again brought together close collaborators and attempted to incorporate Chicago drill, dancehall, acid house, and industrial music, primarily inspired by architecture. West's perfectionist tendencies led him to contact producer Rick Rubin 15 days shy of its due date to strip down the record's sound in favor of a more minimalist approach. Initial promotion of his sixth album included worldwide video projections of the album's music and live television performances. Yeezus, West's sixth album, was released June 18, 2013, to rave reviews from critics. It became his 6th consecutive #1 debut, but also marked his lowest solo opening week sales. Def Jam issued Black Skinhead to radio in July 2013 as the album's lead single. In September 2013, Kanye West announced he would be headlining his first solo tour in 5 years to support Yeezus, with fellow American rapper Kendrick Lamar accompanying him as supporting act. The tour was met with rave reviews from critics. Rolling Stone described it as crazily entertaining, hugely ambitious, emotionally affecting, really, and, most importantly, totally bonkers. Writing for Forbes, Zach O'Malley Greenberg praised West for taking risks that few pop stars, if any, are willing to take in today's hyper-exposed world of pop, describing the show as overwrought and uncomfortable at times, but excels at challenging norms and provoking thought in a way that just isn't common for mainstream musical acts of late. In June 2013, Western television personality Kim Kardashian announced the birth of their first child, North, and their engagement in October to widespread media attention. In November, West stated that he was beginning work on his next studio album, hoping to release it by mid-2014, with production by Rick Rubin and Q-Tip. In December 2013, Adidas announced the beginning of their official apparel collaboration with West, to be premiered the following year. In May 2014, West and Kardashian were married in a private ceremony in Florence, Italy, with a variety of artists and celebrities in attendance. West released a single, Only One, featuring Paul McCartney, in December, for 5 seconds. A single jointly produced with Rihanna and McCartney was released in January 2015. West also appeared on the Saturday Night Live 40th Anniversary Special, where he premiered a new song entitled Wolves, featuring Sia Furler and fellow Chicago rapper Vic Mensa. In February 2015, West premiered his clothing collaboration with Adidas, entitled Yeezy Season 1, to generally positive reviews. This would include West's Yeezy Boost sneakers. In March 2015, West released the single, All Day, featuring Theophilus London, Alan Kingdom and Paul McCartney. West performed the song at the 2015 Brit Awards with a number of US rappers and UK grime MCs, including Skepta, Wiley, Novelist, Fecky, Krypton Conan, Stormzy, Alan Kingdom, Theophilus London and Vic Mensa. He would premiere the second iteration of his clothing line, Yeezy Season 2, in September 2015 at New York Fashion Week, having initially announced a new album entitled So Help Me God slated for a 2014 release. In March 2015, West announced that the album would instead be tentatively called Swish. On May 11, West was awarded an honorary doctorate by the School of the Art Institute of Chicago for his contributions to music, fashion, and popular culture, officially making him an honorary DFA. The next month, West headlined at the Glastonbury Festival in the UK, despite a petition signed by almost 135,000 people against his appearance. Toward the end of the set, West proclaimed himself the greatest living rock star on the planet. Media outlets, including social media sites such as Twitter, were divided on his performance. NME stated, the decision to book West for the slot has proved controversial since its announcement, and the show itself appeared to polarize both Glastonbury goers and those who tuned in to watch on their TVs. The publication added that he's letting his music speak for and prove itself. The Guardian said that his set has a potent ferocity, but there are gaps and stutters, and he cuts a strangely lone figure in front of the vast crowd. In September 2015, West performed 808s and Heartbreak in its entirety 2 nights in a row to rave reviews at Hollywood Bowl. The performance featured a 60-person orchestra, a live band, guests from the album and 70-plus dances. In December 2015, West released a song titled Facts. West announced in January 2016 that Swish would be released on February 11, and later that month, released new songs, Real Friends, and a snippet of No More Parties in LA, with Kendrick Lamar. This also revived the Good Fridays initiative, in which he releases new singles every Friday. On January 26, 2016, West revealed he had renamed the album from Swish to Waves, and also announced the premiere of his Yeezy Season 3 clothing line at Madison Square Garden. In the weeks leading up to the album's release, West became embroiled in several Twitter controversies and released several changing iterations of the track list for the new album Monsieur several days ahead of its release. West again changed the title, this time to The Life of Pablo. On February 11, West premiered the album at Madison Square Garden as part of the presentation of his Yeezy Season 3 clothing line. Following the preview, West announced that he would be modifying the track list once more before its release to the public, and further delayed its release to finalize the recording of the track Waves at the behest of co-writer Chance the Rapper. He released the album exclusively on Tidal on February 14, 2016, following a performance on SNL. Following its official streaming release, West continued to tinker with mixes of several tracks, describing the work as a living, breathing, changing creative expression, and proclaiming the end of the album as a dominant release for Monsieur, although a statement by West around The Life of Pablo's initial release indicated that the album would be a permanent exclusive to Tidal. The album was released through several other competing services starting in April. In February 2016, West stated on Twitter that he was planning to release another album in the summer of 2016, tentatively called TurboGrafx 16 in reference to the 1990s video game console of the same name. In June 2016, West released the collaborative lead single, Champions, off the Good Music album Cruel Winter, which has yet to be released. Later that month, West released a controversial video for Famous, which depicted wax figures of several celebrities, including West, Kardashian, Taylor Swift, businessman and then presidential candidate Donald Trump, comedian Bill Cosby, and former President George W. Bush, sleeping nude in a shared bed. In August 2016, West embarked on the St. Pablo tour in support of The Life of Pablo. The performances featured a mobile stage suspended from the ceiling. West postponed several dates in October following the Paris robbery of several of his wife's effects. On November 21, 2016, West cancelled the remaining 21 dates on the St. Pablo tour. Following a week of no-shows, curtailed concerts and rants about politics, he was later admitted for psychiatric observation at UCLA Medical Center. He stayed hospitalized over the Thanksgiving weekend because of a temporary psychosis stemming from sleep deprivation and extreme dehydration. Following this episode, West took an 11-month break from Twitter and the public in general. It was reported in May 2017 that West was recording new music in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, with a wide range of collaborators. In April 2018, West announced plans to write a philosophy book entitled Break the Simulation, later clarifying that he was sharing the book in real time on Twitter and began posting content that was likened to life coaching. Later that month, he also announced 2 new albums, a solo album and self-titled collaboration with Kid Cudi under the name Kids See Ghosts, both of which would be released in June. Additionally, he revealed he would produce upcoming albums by Good Music label mates Pusha T and Teyana Taylor, as well as Nas. Shortly thereafter, West released the non-album singles Lift Yourself, a strange, gibberish track featuring nonsensical lyrics, and Ye vs. The People, in which he and T.I. discussed West's controversial support of Donald Trump. Pusha T's Daytona, the first project out of Wyoming, was released in May to critical acclaim. Although the album's artwork, a photograph of deceased singer Whitney Houston's bathroom that West paid $85,000 to license, attracted some controversy. The following week, West released his album, Ye. West has suggested that he scrapped the original recordings of the album and re-recorded it within a month. The week after, West released a collaborative album with Kid Cudi. titled Kids See Ghosts, named after their group of the same name. West also completed production work on Nazir and KTSE. On August 30, 2018, West released the non-album single XTCY, which was originally slated to be included in Ye. On September 7, 2018, West released a collaboration with American rapper Lil Pump titled I Love It. On September 9, 2018, West announced via Twitter that Watch the Throne 2 would be coming soon. Later that month, West also announced his 9th studio album, Yandy, to be released by the end of the month, and a collaborative album with Chicagoan rapper Chance the Rapper titled Good Ass Job. West also announced in September that he would be changing his stage name to Ye. Yandy was originally set for release on September 29, 2018, but was postponed to November 23, 2018. West later postponed the album again in November 2018 with no new release date set. Later in 2018, West began collaborating with other new acts besides Lil Pump. West appeared as a guest feature on the tracks Kanga and Mama with Nicki Minaj on American rapper 6ix9ine in his debut album Dummy Boy. West is also the sole feature on XXXTentacion's first posthumous album Skins. 6ix9ine and XXXTentacion were both slated to be included on Yandy. In January 2019, West pulled out of headlining the year's Coachella Festival, after negotiations broke down due to discord regarding stage design. On July 18, 2019, it was reported that songs from West's unreleased album, Yandy, were leaked online. By October of the same year, the whole leaked unfinished album was available for a short time on streaming services like Spotify and Tidal, but were shortly taken down. By October 21, 2019, West announced his Christian hip-hop album Jesus is King, effectively changing and retitling his previously announced Yandy album this year. On January 6, 2019, West started his weekly Sunday service orchestration, which includes soul variations of both West's and other songs attended by multiple celebrities including the Kardashians, Charlie Wilson, and Kid Cudi. West previewed a new song, Water, at his Sunday service orchestration performance at Weekend 2 of Coachella. On October 25, 2019, he released Jesus is King, a Christian hip-hop album this year on the US charts. The album became the first to ever top the Billboard 200 top R&B, hip-hop albums, top rap albums, top Christian albums and top gospel albums at the same time. He also collaborated with Vanessa Beecroft on 2 operas, Nebuchadnezzar and Mary. On December 25, 2019, West and Sunday Service released Jesus is Born, containing 19 songs including several reworkings of older West songs. Musical style. West's musical career is defined by frequent stylistic shifts and different musical approaches. In the subsequent years since his debut, West has both musically and lyrically taken an increasingly experimental approach to crafting progressive hip-hop music while maintaining accessible pop sensibilities. He has introduced new musical elements and unconventional reference points into his sonic palette. With each album this year over time, West has explored a variety of music genres encompassing soul, baroque pop, stadium rock, electro, house music, indie rock, synth pop, progressive rock, industrial, punk and gospel. West's approach to record production is consistently rich, nuanced and thought-provoking. His productions are akin to musical compositions, bearing an ornate style with more depth typical of hip-hop artists while making use of an ear for hooks. He incorporates live instruments, manipulated vocal samples and dramatic arrangements to supplement his beats. His later musical works increasingly relied on the application of digital audio workstations and computerized synths, bass, and drums. West also surveys and analyzes lyrical trends in the continuously evolving landscape of hip-hop. culture, often changing his approach to rhyming couplets for his songwriting and delivery. Lyrically, West's wordplay generally contains a proliferation of puns and inventive, multisyllabic rhymes. Both his songwriting and vocal delivery rely on lines laden with transformative and slant rhymes, with West often altering the pronunciation of his words. West admits his rapping ability is not as dexterous as peers Jay-Z, Eminem and Nas, so he compensates with subject matter. He elaborates. The songs offer melody and message. That's the main goal. I saw it as a simple math project. If I can rap 70 to 80% as good as the beats, I'll be successful. West drew influence from mainstream rappers such as Maze and his Rockefeller label mates Jay-Z and Cameron, in conjunction with underground hip-hop artists like Mos Def, Talib Kweli and Dead Prez. Kanye stated that Dead Prez in particular helped him discover a style of making raps with the message sound cool. With his debut album, West managed to strike a balance between smart and savvy rap lyrical themes, as his songwriting injects pop melodies into raw hip-hop beats. West's lyrics find him rapping about substantial issues in addition to amusing topics ranging from Jesus and weight loss in a way that resulted in widespread commercial appeal. They successfully struck a chord with both mainstream hip-hop audience as well as its alternative sector. His rhymes have been described as funny, provocative and articulate, capable of seamlessly segueing from shrewd commentary to comical braggadocio to introspective sensitivity. West imparts that he's conscious of the circumstances of his surroundings and strives to speak in an inclusive manner, so groups from different racial and gender backgrounds can comprehend his lyrics, saying he desired to sound just as ill as Jadakiss and just as understandable as Will Smith. Asked about his early musical inspirations in 2008, he named artists such as A Tribe Called Quest, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, George Michael, LL Cool J, Phil Collins and Madonna. Regarding the influence of A Tribe Called Quest producer Q-Tip, West stated, Midnight Marauders, Electric Relaxation, Low End Theory. A lot of the melodies and the type of chords they would sample was what I was going for when I did The College Dropout. When I felt like I was at my highest level was when I was closest to a Tribe record. So, a record like Per Dem Say was an accomplishment for me to even have something that was close to what they did. Other musicians West has invoked as general inspirations include David Bowie, Miles Davis and Gil Scott-Heron. West was formatively mentored by Chicago producer No ID, who introduced him to record production in the early 1990s, allowing a teenage West to sit in on recording sessions. West has cited Wu-Tang Clan producer and leader RZA as a prominent influence on his style. He stated, Me and my friends talk about this all the time. We think Wu-Tang had one of the biggest impacts as far as a movement. From slang to style of dress, skits, the samples, similar to the style I use. RZA has been doing that. On his behalf, RZA has responded favorably to comparisons between him and West. He said, all good. Kanye West. I got super respect for Kanye. He came up to me about a year or two ago. He gave me mad praising and blessings. He had a lot to say about things I did. It's like when I met Isaac Hayes. West's early sound was largely influenced by 1990s hip-hop music, particularly that of the East Coast. Despite hailing from Chicago, West expressed a preference for New York artists, tailoring both his lyricism and fashion sense after rappers such as Raekwon and Nas. He recalled, I used to love people like Wu-Tang Clan, Biggie, and Nas, people that sold records. I liked Common OK, you know, since he was from Chicago. But I wanted to dress like Nas. Regarding production, according to No ID, who mentored him from age 14, West made puffy-style popish beats, sharing similar sentiments. West's close friend and collaborator, singer, songwriter and musician John Legend once described him as the sing-songy rapper, producer with the overtly pop sensibility. West also claims that he used to make beats reminiscent of Timbaland and DJ Premier. Alongside DJ Premier, the soulful nature of his early production bears an influence of Prince Paul, while the slightly off-kilter drum machine beats he crafted for tracks reflect J Dilla. While speaking on the late producer, West praised Dilla's ability concerning drums. He asserted, "That man was a genius. Whatever he could do to tweak that MPC the way he worked it in a different type of way." West subsequently developed a hip-hop production style, driven by melodic and rhythmic hooks derived from samples of classic soul records. He would take cues from the traditional sounds of early 1990s New York City hip-hop, with an emphasis on infectious looped samples and dense drums or percussion, and channel the aesthetic through contemporary record production while polishing it to a pop sheen. Early in his career, West pioneered a style of hip-hop production dubbed chipmunk soul. His method of sampling technique is reminiscent of record production from the 1990s, involving the manipulation of tempo in order to chop and stretch pitched-up samples from vintage soul songs. According to mixing engineer Craig Bauer, the co-owner of Hinge Studios, a downtown Chicago recording and mixing facility where West has been a client, he knew what he wanted, and he was always striving to make his beats sound like no one else's. He would lift samples and manipulate them, twist them around, turn them up an octave until he got something fresh out of something that was made 20 or 30 years ago. He never wanted to be like someone else. This is typically done on an Akai MPC or an Ensoniq RS-10 and combined with his own instrumentation. West further developed his style on his debut studio album, The College Dropout, 2004. On the album, West formed the constitutive elements of his style: intricate hip-hop beats, topical subject matter, and clumsy rapping laced with inventive wordplay. After a rough version was leaked, West meticulously refined the production, adding string arrangements, gospel choirs, and improved drum programming. Alongside soul samples, the record was characterized by its relatable lyrics. West drew from his own experiences after leaving college to pursue music and recovering from a near-fatal car accident. The record saw West diverge from the then-dominant gangster persona in hip-hop in favor of more diverse, topical lyrical subjects. His songs found him rapping about higher education, materialism, self-consciousness, minimum wage labor, institutional prejudice, class struggle, family, sexuality, and his own self-doubts and personal struggles in the music industry in a manner particular to his middle-class upbringing. West progressed forward towards more musically adventurous, maximalistic production on his subsequent albums, beginning with his sophomore effort, Late Registration, 2005. For his second album, West collaborated with film score composer John Bryan and drew influence from diverse influences, such as English trip-hop group Portishead, blending West's primary soulful hip-hop production with Bryan's elaborate chamber pop orchestration. The album experimentally incorporated a wide array of different genres and prominent orchestral elements, including string arrangements, piano chords, brass flecks, and horn riffs, amid a myriad of foreign and vintage instruments. Critic Robert Christgau wrote that, "There's never been hip-hop so complex and subtle musically." In addition, West's flow improved since his debut album this year. He became more adept at syncing his phrases up with beats instead of merely coasting over them to deliver punchlines. With his lyrics, West displayed an aptitude for personalizing what would otherwise be political, dwelling on matters close to heart. On his third album, Graduation, 2007, West moved towards an atmospheric soundscape influenced by rock music and laced with electronics. West retracted much of the soulful sampling and rich live instrumentation that characterized his previous albums and replaced them with loud, gothic synthesizers. He incorporated layers of distorted synth chords, house beats, electro-disco rhythms, and a wide array of modulated electronic noises and digital audio effects into his hip-hop Production. West was primarily influenced by arena rock bands such as the Rolling Stones, U2 and Led Zeppelin. Drawing his from experiences on stadium tours, West progressed to a more anthemic style of composing rap songs that would function well when performing in large arenas. He also drew musical inspiration from European Britpop and Eurodisco, American alternative and indie rock, and his native Chicago house. Lyrically, Graduation is more introspective in comparison to predecessors. West dedicated much of his songwriting towards providing inspirational messages directed at individuals while exploring personal issues surrounding his own fame and media scrutiny. West's fourth studio album, 808s and Heartbreak, 2008, marked a radical departure from his previous releases. He largely abandoned rapping over hip-hop beats in favor of emotive, melodic singing within a stark synth-driven electro-pop soundscape. West stripped away samples and relied almost entirely on droning synthesizers as instruments while singing with the use of auto-tune. Throughout the album, he juxtaposes the electronic feel generated by auto-tune and distorted Roland TR-808 drum machine, with lengthy strings, somber piano and tribal rhythms impacted by the tragic death of his mother, Donda West, as well as the broken engagement from his fiancée, designer Alexis Fiffer. He wrote more sensitive pop songs about love and relationships. West was inspired to sing thanks to words of encouragement from famed pop artist Michael Jackson. Prior to its release, West also cited inspiration from 1980s synth-pop artists such as Phil Collins, Gary Newman, and Boy George, and confessed an affinity with the work of post-punk and new wave groups such as Joy Division, The Police and TJ Swan. He would later describe 808s and Heartbreak as the first black new wave album this year, discussing the album's subsequent influence on popular music. Journalist Matthew Trammell for Rolling Stone described 808s as Kanye's most vulnerable work, and perhaps his most brilliant. West recorded his fifth album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, 2010, with a wide range of collaborators. The album engages with themes of excess, celebrity, and decadence, has been noted by writers for its maximalist aesthetic and its incorporation of elements from West's previous four albums. Entertainment Weekly's Simon Vossick Levinson noted that such elements all recur at various points, namely, the luxurious soul of 2004's The College Dropout, the symphonic pomp of Late Registration, the gloss of 2007's Graduation, and the emotionally exhausted electro of 2008's 808s and Heartbreak. In a positive review, Andy Gill of The Independent called it one of pop's gaudiest, most grandiose efforts of recent years, a no-holds-barred musical extravaganza in which any notion of good taste is abandoned at the door. Describing his sixth studio album Yeezus, 2013, as a protest to music, West embraced an abrasive style that incorporated a variety of unconventional influences. Music critic Greg Koch described it as a hostile, abrasive and intentionally off-putting album that combines the worlds of 1980s acid house and contemporary Chicago drill music, 1990s industrial music, and the avant-rap of Saul Williams, Death Grips and Odd Future. The album also incorporates elements of trap music, as well as dancehall, punk, and electro, inspired by the minimalist design of Le Corbusier and primarily electronic in nature. Yeezus also continues West's practice of eclectic and unusual samples. Rolling Stone called the album a brilliant, obsessive-compulsive career autocorrect. West's seventh album, The Life of Pablo, was noted for its raw, occasionally even intentionally messy, composition. In distinction to West's previous album Monsieur, Rolling Stone wrote that it's designed to sound like a work in progress. Carl Wilson of Slate characterized the album as creating strange links between Kanye's many iterations, soul sample enthusiast, heartbroken auto-tune crooner, hedonistic avant-pop composer, industrial rap shit talker. West initially characterized the release as a gospel album this year, Greg Kot of the Chicago Tribune wrote in his review of the life of Pablo, West's version of gospel touches on some of those sonic cues, heavy organ, soaring choirs, but seems more preoccupied with gospel text and the notion of redemption. Other ventures. Early in his career, West made clear his interest in fashion and desire to work in the clothing design industry. In September 2005, West announced that he would release his pastel clothing line in spring 2006, claiming, "Now that I have a Grammy under my belt and late registration is finished, I am ready to launch my clothing line next spring." The line was developed over the following 4 years with multiple pieces teased by West himself before the line was ultimately cancelled in 2009. In 2009, West collaborated with Nike to release his own shoe, the Air Yeezys, with a second version released in 2012. He became the first non-athlete to be given a shoe deal with Nike. In January 2009, he introduced his first shoe line designed for Louis Vuitton during Paris Fashion Week. The line was released in summer 2009. West has additionally designed shoe wear for Bape and Italian shoemaker Giuseppe Zanotti. In fall 2009, West moved to Rome and did an internship at Italian fashion brand Fendi, where he gave ideas for the men's collection. In March 2011, West collaborated with M Paris for a series of silk scarves featuring artwork from My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. On October 1, 2011, Kanye West premiered his women's fashion label, DW Kanye West, at Paris Fashion Week. He received support from D2 duo Dean and Dan Catin, Olivier Theoskins, Jeremy Scott, Azadine Allah, and the Olsen twins, who were also in attendance during his show. His debut fashion show received mixed to negative reviews, ranging from reserved observations by Style.com to excoriating commentary in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the International Herald Tribune, Airlook.com, the Daily Telegraph, Harper's Bazaar and many others. On March 6, 2012, West premiered a second fashion line at Paris Fashion Week. The line's reception was markedly improved from the previous presentation, with a number of critics heralding West for his much-improved sophomore effort. On December 3, 2013, Adidas officially confirmed a new shoe collaboration deal with West after months of anticipation and rumors. West confirmed the release of the Adidas Yeezy Boosts. In 2015, West unveiled his Yeezy Season clothing line, premiering Season 1 in collaboration with Adidas early in the year. The line received positive critical reviews, with Vogue observing a protective toughness, a body-conscious severity that made the clothes more than a simple accessory. The release of the Yeezy Boosts and the full Adidas collaboration was showcased in New York City on February 12, 2015, with free streaming to 50 cinemas in 13 countries around the world. An initial release of the Adidas Yeezy Boosts was limited to 9,000 pairs to be available only in New York City via the Adidas smartphone app. The Adidas Yeezy Boosts were sold out within 10 minutes. The shoes, released worldwide on February 28, 2015, were limited to select boutique stores in the Adidas UK stores. He followed with Season 2 later that year at New York Fashion Week. On February 11, West premiered his Yeezy Season 3 clothing line at Madison Square Garden in conjunction with the previewing of his album The Life of Pablo. In June 2016, Adidas announced a new long-term contract with Kanye West, which sees the Yeezy line extend to a number of stores and enter sports performance products. The Yeezys will be seen in basketball, football, soccer, and more. In February 2017, West unveiled the Yeezy Season 5 collection to favorable responses from critics. In May 2017, West, alongside wife Kim Kardashian, launched a clothing line for children titled Kids Supply. A second collection was released in July 2017. In February, West tweeted, "Yeezy is no longer a fashion company, we should be referred to as apparel or clothing." or simply Yeezy. West's Yeezy shoe line is considered one of the most influential sneaker brands in the world. West founded the record label and production company Good Music in 2004, in conjunction with Sony BMG. Shortly after releasing his debut album, The College Dropout, John Legend, Common, and West were the label's inaugural artists. The label houses artists including West, Big Sean, Pusha T, Teyana Taylor, Yasin Bey, Mos Def, D'banj and John Legend, and producers including Hudson Mohawk, Q-Tip, Travis Scott, No ID, Jeff Basker, and S1. Good Music has released 10 albums certified gold or higher by the Recording Industry Association of America, RIAA. In November 2015, West appointed Pusha T the new president of Good Music. In August 2008, West revealed plans to open 10 Fat Burger restaurants in the Chicago area. The first was set to open in September 2008 in Orland Park. The second followed in January 2009, while a third location is yet to be revealed, although the process is being finalized. His company, KW Foods LLC, bought the rights to the chain in Chicago. Ultimately, in 2009, only 2 locations actually opened. In February 2011, West shut down the Fat Burger located in Orland Park. Later that year, the remaining Beverly location also was shuttered. On January 5, 2012, West announced his establishment of the creative content company Donda, named after his late mother Donda West. In his announcement, West proclaimed that the company would pick up where Steve Jobs left off. Donda would operate as a design company which will galvanize amazing thinkers in a creative space to bounce their dreams and ideas, with the goal to make products and experiences that people want and can afford. West is notoriously secretive about the company's operations, maintaining neither an official website nor a social media presence. In stating Donda's creative philosophy, West articulated the need to put creatives in a room together with like minds, in order to simplify and aesthetically improve everything we see, taste, touch, and feel. Contemporary critics have noted the consistent minimalistic aesthetic exhibited throughout Donda creative projects. On March 30, 2015, it was announced that West is a co-owner with various other music artists in the music streaming service Tidal. The service specializes in lossless audio and high-definition music videos. Jay-Z acquired the parent company of Tidal, Aspero, in the first quarter of 2015. 16 artist stakeholders in Jay-Z, Rihanna, Beyoncé, Madonna, Chris Martin, Nicki Minaj co-own Tidal, with the majority owning a 3% equity stake. The idea of having an all-artist-owned streaming service was created by those involved to adapt to the increased demand for streaming within the current music industry, and to rival other streaming services such as Spotify, which have been criticized for their low payout of royalties. The challenge is to get everyone to respect music again, to recognize its value, stated Jay-Z on the release of Tidal. On June 6, 2016, West announced the Yeezy Season 2 zine. The Adidas Yeezy Boost 750 sneakers were released to retailers the following week. On June 11, they are high-top shoes with a glow-in-the-dark sole. In an interview with Vogue, he stated that there will be Yeezy stores, with the first located in California. In an interview with Fader in September 2018, West announced that he was considering plans of opening an automobile factory in Chicago with the focus of developing a flying car with the help of Tesla alums. West, alongside his mother, founded the Kanye West Foundation in Chicago in 2003, tasked with a mission to battle dropout and illiteracy rates, while partnering with community organizations to provide underprivileged youth access to music education. In 2007, the West and the Foundation partnered with Strong American Schools as part of their Ed in 08 campaign. As spokesman for the campaign, West appeared in a series of PSAs for the organization. and hosted an inaugural benefit concert in August of that year. In 2008, following the death of West's mother, the foundation was rechristened the Dr. Donda West Foundation. The foundation ceased operations in 2011. Kanye West and friend, Rhymefest, also founded Donda's House, Inc. Bars is the Donda's House signature music, lyric composition and performance program this year. Participants are selected through an application and audition process. Bars is a free music writing program with the goal of helping at-risk Chicago youth. It is aimed at students between 15 and 24, and includes lessons on how to write and record music. Their curriculum is based on the teaching philosophy and pedagogy of Dr. Donda West with a focus on collaborative and experiential learning. West has additionally appeared and participated in many fundraisers, benefit concerts, and has done community work for Hurricane Katrina relief. The Kanye West Foundation, the Millions More Movement, 100 Black Men of America, a Live Earth concert benefit, World Water Day rally in March, Nike runs, a Hurricane Sandy benefit concert, and an MTV special helping young Iraq War veterans who struggle through debt and PTSD a second chance after returning home. In January 2019, West donated $10 million towards the completion of the Rodin crater by American artist James Turrell. In June 2020, in wake of the killing of George Floyd and following protests, he donated $2 million between the family of Floyd and other victims of police brutality Mo. Arbery and Breonna Taylor. The donation funded legal fees for Arbery and Taylor's families, as well as establishing a 529 plan to fully cover college tuition for Floyd's daughter. West made cameo appearances as himself in the films State Property 2, 2005, and The Love Guru, 2008, and in an episode of the television show Entourage in 2007. West provided the voice for Kanye West, a rapper, in the animated sitcom The Cleveland Show. In 2009, he starred in the Spike Jonze-directed short film We Were Once a Fairy Tale. 2009, playing himself acting belligerently while drunk in a nightclub. West wrote, directed, and starred in the musical short film Runaway, 2010, which heavily features music from My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. The film depicts a relationship between a man, played by West, and a half-woman, half-phoenix creature. In 2012, West wrote and directed another short film, titled Cruel Summer, which premiered at the 2012 Cannes Film Festival in a custom pyramid-shaped screening pavilion, featuring 7 screens constructed for the film this year. The film was inspired by the compilation album of the same name. West made a cameo appearance in the comedy Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues, 2013, as a MTV News representative in the film's fight scene. In September 2018, West announced starting a film production company named Half Beast, LLC. West expressed interest in starting an architecture firm in May 2013, saying, "I want to do product. I am a product person. Not just clothing but water bottle design. Architecture. I make music but I shouldn't be limited to one's place of creativity." And then later in November 2013, delivering a manifesto on his architectural goals during a visit to Harvard Graduate School of Design. In May 2018, West announced he was starting an architecture firm which will act as an arm of his already successful Yeezy fashion label. West announced the decision on his Twitter account, tweeting, "We're starting a Yeezy architecture arm called Yeezy Home. We're looking for architects and industrial designers who want to make the world better." In June 2018, the first Yeezy Home collaboration was announced by designer Jalil Peraza, teasing an affordable concrete prefabricated home as part of a social housing project. In September 2015, West announced that he intended to run for President of the United States in 2020. He later implied on Twitter that he intends to run for president in 2024 due to Donald Trump's win in the 2016 elections. West later confirmed this in an interview in September 2018, saying that his main political concern is health care in the United States. On December 13, 2016, West met with President-elect Trump. According to West, "I wanted to meet with Trump today to discuss multicultural issues. These issues included bullying, supporting teachers, modernizing curriculums, and violence in Chicago. I feel it is important to have a direct line of communication with our future president if we truly want change." West previously stated he would have voted for Trump had he voted in February 2017. However, West deleted all of his tweets about Trump and purported dislike of the new president's policies, particularly the travel ban. West reiterated his support for Donald Trump in April 2018 in a text to Ebro Darden where he said, "I love Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump." West also posted a picture wearing a Make America Great Again hat alongside a series of tweets defending President Trump. Trump later retweeted several of West's tweets. Following his return to Twitter in April 2018, West tweeted, "I love the way Candace Owens thinks." Owens, who promotes black conservatism, praised President Trump as the savior of the free world and criticized the Black Lives Matter movement. The tweet was met with controversy among some of West's fans. In May 2018, West said in an interview with radio host Charlamagne Tha God that he had been asked by a friend, "What makes George Bush any more racist than Trump?" possibly alluding to his previous controversial condemnation of Bush as not caring about black people. West said, "Racism isn't the deal-breaker for me. If that was the case, I wouldn't live in America." During an interview with Fader in September 2018, West said he was visiting Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel to possibly start a school building project. On October 11, 2018, West visited the Oval Office for a meeting with President Trump to discuss a range of issues. He and several other musicians watched Trump sign the Music Modernization Act. His support for Trump led to the creation of a Kanye parody by famous artist Lush 6 who painted Kanye with Trump's hair. Later in October 2018, West and his wife visited the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, a noted Trump supporter, and said they held fruitful discussions about promoting tourism and the arts. The same month, West donated $73,540 to progressive Chicago mayoral candidate Amara Enier. The donation was the exact amount Enier needed to pay a fine she received for not filing campaign finance reports during her abbreviated 2015 mayoral run. In October 26, President Trump praised West during his speech at the Young Black Leadership Summit, adding, "I think Kanye may be the most powerful man in all of politics," referring to a story on West's effect on African Americans. In October 2018, West was reported to have given his support to the Blexit movement, a campaign by Owens to encourage black Americans to abandon the Democratic Party and register as Republicans. Media reports suggested West had advised on the design of the campaign's logo and branded merchandise, including T-shirts. However, West denied being the designer and disavowed the effort, tweeting, "My eyes are now wide open and now realize I've been used to spread messages I don't believe in. I am distancing myself from politics and completely focusing on being creative." Quote. In January 2019, West reaffirmed his support for President Trump. In the same year he expressed his opposition to abortion, and condemned those who wish to remove religion from the public square. In an interview with GQ in January 2020, West implied he'd be voting for President Trump. Controversies.